The movie is set in 1975 in a Cambodian city named Phnom Penh. After the Vietnam War, the Americans have finally pulled out of Phnom Penh, which was a neutral zone. The residents of the city are thrilled and are hoping for a better life with no fear of violence. Amidst the people celebrating is a family of 9 named the Lungs. The father, Pa, is an officer in the National Armed Forces and is a wealthy man taking good care of his family. The protagonist is the middle child, Loung, an ambitious young girl still learning to live life. The Loung family enjoys a regular day in their life, unaware of what life has in plan for them. Outside, the people are celebrating the end of the war and restoration of peace in their city. What they do not know is that the Communist Party, named Khmer Rouge, is planning to attack the city, taking advantage of the shaky political state it is in. An army of the Khmer Rouge interrupts the celebration, urging the people to evacuate their homes immediately. Like everyone else, the Ung family has to pack the essentials and leave behind everything they have worked for. To avoid retaliation, the Cambodian troops are stripped out of their clothes and seized of their weapons. This gives the communist group full control of the city and its residents. As refugees, thousands of people make their way to the camps in the countryside in hopes of finding a safe home. The Young family also gets inside their car and joins the crowd. After half an hour of driving, they are stopped by one of the rebels, who asks them to leave their vehicle behind. He claims that it will slow them down and will be more useful to the soldiers who are protecting the city. Pa Ung knows that they are being robbed, but has to oblige to keep his family safe. Further along the way, the rebels start separating the commoners and government workers. They don't want the government's people in the refugee camp to avoid any spies. Pa is nervous because if they find out he is in the National Army Forces, his life will end short. Hence, at night, when no one is watching, he throws his state card into the fire. A confused Loung catches him in the act, but doesn't say anything. Like her siblings, she doesn't understand the depth of the situation and thinks that they will return to the warmth of their home in a few days. 3 tiresome days later, when their journey still doesn't end, Loung abruptly stops in her tracks. Upon being questioned by Pa, she claims that they should be home by now. The man decides to be honest and tell her that they won't be home anytime soon, but he wants her to believe he will keep her safe no matter what. A few hours later, they reach a checkpost where the soldiers seize all their belongings. Loung sees her favorite dress being thrown into a basket, and all the money they have is taken away. According to the rebels, they are starting a new rule in Cambodia where class doesn't exist. Money won't be necessary, and everyone will be equal. Pa lies about his profession to not get caught while he watches some of his colleagues being taken hostage because they used to work for the government. By that afternoon, the family finally reaches the countryside and sees how opposite it is of the lavish life they were living in the city. One thing that catches Loung's eyes is the respected monks being forced to work in the paddy field. Just when the little girl starts to panic, they see a familiar face in the crowd. Their Uncle Lee, who's a farmer in the countryside, has come to help them. He takes them to his house, allowing them to stay with him and start a new life. Little Loung comments that her uncle is poor upon seeing the house. In turn, her father makes her understand that their family is poor too, which means that they will have to live differently. A few days later, Loung overhears the elders chat and finds out Uncle Lee supports the communist group who he thinks will save them from the Americans. She is unsettled that he supports the people who kicked them out of their house, but doesn't say anything. The very next day, their family is asked to find refuge somewhere else, because if the rebels find out Pa was in the army, Lee's family will also get into trouble. The Youngs understand the tight situation Lee is in and pack up to go to the nearest refugee camp. They are picked up by a car in the middle of the night and reach the camp by the morning. They soon find out the camp is like a prison with strict rules that the communists think are revolutionary. First, they are asked to dye their clothes black to represent them being on the same level as everyone else. Next, the girl's hair is cut and they are separated into groups to do heavy labor all day. The refugees of all ages work in the field, planting grains and vegetables for hours. But when it is time to harvest, the rebels get all the food, while the refugees are left with scrapes. One night, Loung witnesses an execution of a fellow refugee who used modern medicine to cure his dying son, instead of the medicine the regime approves of. After 2 months of living in such a condition, the family is weak and growing sicker. Then, one day, it is announced that the communist army fighting throughout the state needs help. All of the young refugees are asked to join the force, including the 3 eldest Ung children. A difficult goodbye marks the last time the family will ever be together. Now, with only her parents and 3 siblings, Loung feels like her life couldn't be worse, but little does she know what the future has in store for her. Life goes on as usual, with the kids working 10 hours a day in the field, with no food or water. During During harvest season, Loung's sister is caught sneaking a single bean in her mouth. She is beaten and berated for the mistake, but fortunately for them, the rebel doesn't tell the camp leader. At night, we see Pa pouring a handful of rice into a pouch. He collects some every day to ensure his family will have something to eat when push comes to shove. The family roasts crickets for the night and eats them, imagining that they are eating the chicken soup their mother used to cook. That night, Loung dreams of enjoying her favorite ribs, and in a moment of frenzy, eats the rice stored for emergency. In the morning, her brother hits her for doing so, but Pa takes her side and caresses her lovingly. As days go by, the family gets bad news. One of Young's siblings had died in a brawl. Loung watches her mother break into sobs and remembers how she used to be before life took a turn. The death takes a toll on the family, but before they recover, they are met with yet another hurdle. Pa is called to the city to fix a broken bridge. Everyone knows that once he leaves, the chances of him returning is nil. The parents share a tearful goodbye as the kids watch them, not understanding the severity of the situation. That night, Loung imagines her father being killed by the rebels. They throw him into a pit filled with corpses, and she sheds a single tear, coming to terms with the fact that she will never see him again. Man, and I thought Air Bud was a sad movie. A few weeks later, the children are given no food for 2 whole days. To feed the starving children, the mother takes a risk and tells them to steal food from the garden. But the plan ends horribly when Loung's brother is caught and beaten. Having had enough, the mother asks them to run away and find other camps with a better living environment. The kids are supposed to go separate ways and tell people that they are orphans. Their best chance at surviving is if they never let people know their real names and do as the rebels say. In the next hour, the children each pack a picture of their family and leave their mother and youngest sibling behind. When the sun rises, the 3 come across a beheaded statue of God that has been peed on by the rebels. They pray to the statue before Loung's brother separates from her and her sister, starting a journey of his own. A few miles later, the girls bump into a group of soldiers who show them the way to the nearest camp. Upon reaching there, Loung finds out it is a camp for children, where they are taught about communist propaganda. She and her sister lie about their names and start living with the other children. Since they are now treated as future rebels, their diet and lifestyle is better than how it was before. Instead of training the entire day, they are given fixed timetables and kept disciplined. The head soldier notices that Loung makes friends easily and has the spirit of a fighter. Hence, she is transferred to a camp away from her sister, where children are given military training. Loung learns to fight, shoot, and create mine traps through the training. One day, she is allowed to go to the other camp to meet her sister for a few hours. Taking the opportunity, she packs up food in her scarf and instead heads to the original camp in hopes of meeting her mother. However, to her surprise, the camp and her home are deserted. She imagines her mother among a pile of bodies and her little sibling crying. Later, a lady informs her that the soldiers killed everyone who was weak and took the remaining refugees away. No one knows where they went, and even if the mother is alive, Loung cannot meet her. In the end, the little girl helplessly returns to her camp. The same night, the camp is attacked by Vietnamese shelling. Loud noises and explosions wake everyone up, urging them to flee into the woods. Many young children die, unprepared for the real war. Loung's first priority is to find her sister, but she is unable to do so amidst the chaos. Eventually, the camps are destroyed, and the civilians flee to get away from the war. The next morning, everyone is on their way, looking for a safe place to stay. To Loung's surprise, she meets both her siblings, and the 3 share an emotional reunion. After hours of walking, the people finally reach a temporary refugee camp managed by Vietnamese troops. The injured are treated with modern medicine and are helped by the Vietnamese, even though they are from the opposite side. The children make friends with another group and decide to rest for the day. However, their relief is short-lived when only hours later the camp is attacked by the communists in retaliation. The innocent civilians flee into the woods but come across the mines planted by Loung and her friends during training. Loung sees innocent people die in explosions and blames it on herself. The sight stops her in her tracks and makes her rethink about everything that has happened to her. In that moment, the young girl learns that violence has stripped her of her childhood, and she will do everything she can to make her life better. In the following scene, the brawl has ended, and the refugees are building a camp of their own. They have managed to capture a communist terrorist and are humiliating him publicly for what he has done. Young Loung cannot help but feel bad for the man as she sees her father in him. The people leave the prisoner to die in the sun, but she stays with him for a long time, thinking about her family and comparing his situation to theirs. The scene cuts to a few weeks later. Life has been better better for the siblings, since the rebels were defeated by the Vietnamese troops. One day, the two older brothers who survived the camps come looking for their family, and the siblings reunite one more time. The final scene shows us the present day, when the Ung children have all grown up. They are incredibly grateful they were able to survive in such a harsh environment. The movie ends as we see them pray to a group of monks. Subscribe for more videos like this, turn on notifications, and leave a like to help the channel out. Thank you for watching.